We're on our way to Fort Lauderdale. I know that. We're going to Fort Lauderdale. We've got a lunch scheduled with a great friend and industry leader, Alex Nudell.
RevenueWell.
From RevenueWell. So we're excited to spend some time with him and chat. There'll be some good footage from that later on. And then this evening, we've got a great event scheduled with the Nova Southeastern Dental School. That was a really gracious thing on their part to have us come and spend 4 or 5 hours with the faculty and students. So we've got a pretty busy day when we think about it, right? So
kind of jam-packed in there.
So Sully, what are you hoping we accomplish today? What's your big hope for the day?
Well, hopefully we'll get. I'm excited about the event tonight. Obviously, it's always good to see Alex. But tonight, I think it's gonna be really fun with the students. You know, to me, the events with the students are always fun because they're like, you know, when you're a student, you're like a sponge. When you're trying to kind of figure out everything, especially when it pertains to life after dental school. I think that, you know, we get so bogged down in the day-to-day education of dental school that when you get to kind of have somebody or hear from somebody that tells you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that the other side is good, then it's really fun. So super pumped about that. I think we'll have a great turnout from the students, and looking forward to that because I think it's always cool just to kind of, you know, be around them and share what we're doing. So
I'm interested in seeing what the faculty perspective is on this because, you know, lots changing in dental school education. We've got new dental schools going up. It seems like every year there's new schools opening, more and more students coming out, and that's got to change the way that they're educating.
There's still not a whole lot of business being taught, marketing, none of that, but I think until they change the boards, because really they have to teach us to pass the boards, and there's only so much time to do that. So until the board actually changes, I don't think we can add that much more of the practical stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, that's a challenge though, because they're teaching to a test still, which seems kind of crazy. Like somebody, it was one of those Facebook groups or maybe Instagram or something, but somebody goes, look, do you think in medicine, you know, the internal medicine resident is like, oh, I can't graduate because I haven't seen enough people with appendicitis or something, right? So
like
I don't.
Yeah,
so I haven't hit my appendicitis requirement, so I can't graduate. Like, how crazy? Like, that sounds nuts.
So we had a few questions. I'm actually going to start with Hooten here. For all who do sleep apnea and use CBCT for airway, is it true that medical insurance pays only for a larger field of view, such as 12 by 9? I am looking to buy a CBCT with airway, and that's what the reps are telling me. I'm hoping it's not a sealing gimmick.
I hope it's not a selling gimmick, but it is not true. The field of view does not matter when you are billing to medical. So the CPT code for cone beam is 70486, and that is a CT of the oral and maxillofacial cavity, and it is not defined by size or, you know, 5 by 5 or 10 by 10. I will say this though, the larger the field you go, typically the more you see. So your statistical probability of finding more diagnoses to justify that CPT code is higher. If you're really good at, you know, condyles, like you know, arthritic changes and stuff like that, you could obviously capture that on a larger field of view. Many insurance companies have TMD benefits, so that would kick in on the cone beam as well. So, but yeah, field of view doesn't matter, but it does help.
Someone is using an after-hours answering service for the last 15 years. Started with a pager actually, but he's thinking about getting a cheap phone instead. What do you do for your after hours?
Google phone. Get a free Google phone number. You forward it to your cell phone. That way patients call the Google phone. It forwards to your cell phone or a team member's cell phone, but the caller ID will show up as the Google number. And you just put a contact in that says like emergency number, and you just hit dismiss.
Is it automatically forwarded, or do you on the answering machine give the phone number?
You can set it up to do either or, whatever you're most comfortable with. I put the phone number on the answering machine so that somebody has to physically call.
All of this though brings up a good topic for me that interests me from the non-dentist perspective. You guys are talking about solutions, right? So we're talking about outsourcing phone calls, we're talking about having swipers, all of this to save time and do minutes and stuff like that, right? Which are all really intelligent. But so much is driven by how much can I save? How much can I save? I feel like it's like on a ratio of 10 to 1. Do you guys catch yourselves going down that route as well? Or
Not
are you
enough.
or are you constantly trying to grow? Because no, that's actually maybe not a bad thing, because saving will stop, right? You're gonna hit a block, but you'll
Yeah.
never hit a block on growth. Do you guys feel dentists really get opportunity cost? Because I probably go to sales events more than the three of you, and I can just see sometimes, like when Doug Fettig or somebody speaks, the conversation is flying right past their head, and they not only do they not understand opportunity costs, but some basic things like depreciation on certain equipment, certain tax incentives, even that's not. So the person will be like, oh, well, I can't afford the payment, and then I'm like, well, between the depreciation and the write-off of the interest, you're really not paying the number that you think is on the statement, right? So these concepts, and that probably will be something I'll be curious to ask the faculty is, how do you prepare these young people who are very science-driven to the reality of being a business owner?
It's just the big picture of not seeing. They want a direct cost or a direct revenue from something, and that scares them when you start to get these indirect benefits. I think that the most dentists don't like. Or, well, and to your point, you don't see conversations on Facebook that are like, this year I need to get my practice, I need to produce 100 grand more. How do I do that?
It's all the what ifs instead of the what could be.
Yeah.
Yes, well said.
It's operating from the
Very good.
principle of scarcity rather
Yeah.
than the prosperity mentality. And
Abundance.
we all need to live in that abundance mentality, because if we look at our practices and you look at the patients that are within there, we have so much missed opportunity. All of us do. We all could be doing a better job. Imagine you come out of school and you make 120 grand your first year as a dentist. That's a pretty reasonable.
And that's another
How
important
much money
statement.
would you
The
spend
CE.
on? How much? That's a super cool question we get all the time. Is how much money should you budget for CE your first couple years?
I think it depends on what
20,000?
your
20,000?
ultimate goals are.
Is that a reasonable number?
It's probably a good number.
I
yeah.
spent maybe 500.
Here's-
so.
But my point is, you throw out 20,000, and that
I think that's
terrifies.
reasonable.
I think it's totally reasonable.
Well, Aaron, here's and both of you guys.
I think
Here's
you have
where
to.
it might not be reasonable. If you are a associate, and you're an associate, let's say in Indianapolis, and you work for Johnny P, you cannot compare that to an associate in New York City or LA. You just can't. So, for example, JP, if you were in
No.
LA, would you be as successful as you are now?
You're not talking about.
With a dentist every 30 feet?
I'm talking about by bringing in more procedures.
Maybe not. I
Maybe,
don't know.
maybe not. Right, see? So it's an unknown, right?
I'm talking about from a standpoint of like, okay, well, investing in
What
CE
procedures
allows
does
you to
your
produce
office
more
not provide that
typically.
you can that
Right.
sets you apart? I know my new associate, Kelly Harness, she's kind of looking into things that I don't really like to do that she does. So
So
yeah,
you
it's
can take a
perfect.
loan for CE. There's a lot of providers now that are even able to process this as a
Lending Club.
lending club. Yeah, yeah, lending club it. Care credit.
Or what else is? Well, there's some new student discounts for some CEs.
There's ways. The point
Instead
is
of the monetary value,
Or a new
is there a
dentist.
way to, maybe classify it as procedures you want to do or number of courses you want to do? Is there a different way to categorize it?
you have to really look at what do you want in your career and what do you want to be doing. Like I knew that really early in my career I wanted to place implants, and so I made that a priority. That was the first big investment I made in CE because I wanted to do that. For somebody that doesn't want to place implants, that would be a really foolish investment for them to make. But to your point, you can't just put a dollar amount on it. That's not fair.
Okay, so not a dollar amount, but rather what are you passionate about in
Yeah.
dentistry?
Yep.
Should
But at
guide
the
it.
same time,
can you bring to the
there
table?
should be a foundational level of additional education, in my opinion. We all could be better communicators. Even today, we could all be.
Yeah,
better
you could
communicators.
provide the best dental care, but if the patients don't,
If they don't know the
Yeah.
value of it, or they don't care
or
what
they
you're
don't
talking
value
about,
it themselves.
Yeah.
Just as T-Bone was saying yesterday, is like investing in yourself first,
Yeah.
and I didn't do that.
But also finding providers that are trying to eliminate the barriers for you. So,
Yeah.
for example, finding a CE provider that would offer monthly payment options.
Oh, yeah.
For
3D
instance.
dentist.
like 3D Dentist does.
So yeah, 3 days, 6 months.
6
no
months,
interest.
no interest.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
CE programs, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
So there's an opportunity to place implants, sleep, communication.
Home
sector,
being
so-
a part of this crew really has changed my career for the better,
Yeah.
but so much of it is because I hear it enough, but just practical. I'm a general dentist, so when I look at some of these people, I'm like, well, I can never do that, so I just dismiss it. But it's possible, and that's, I think, is such the great part of it, is that relatable, practical, and you make it happen.